Hello everyone. Before we start with the podcast, I just want to first of all say thanks for listening, but also, as a wee disclaimer, want to explain that thanks to the lockdown situation we're in, we recorded this podcast remotely. The plan was that each person would record their own audio, but unfortunately one mic was picking up the speakers of the Zoom call that we used. If anyone's ever tried to edit something using a Zoom call, you'll know that the audio can drift and then quickly catch up again, which has caused a bit of a reverb on our voices from time to time. I tried to fix it as much as I can, and I got most of the really bad bits, but it's still a little iffy from time to time. So don't worry, it just sounds like that. Saying all that is actually fine. It's a nice podcast and my guests are both very funny. So please enjoy the show.
We were so bored yesterday that we filled, Lindsay and I, sitting across from each other, filled in the same which house are you in Harry Potter quiz. The most online quiz of all time. Mm-hmm. And see, could you guess?
Big pair of Hufflepuffs.
Me over here, Hufflepuff.
Pathetic.
She laughed as if it was truly like the worst thing that could have happened.
You filled in a form and you've got an official doctor's note to say you're a loser.
It seems, but then you look up and it's like Hufflepuffs are hardworking, loyal.
Mate, spare me.
Sounds lame.
This is pure. Lame. This is Hufflepuff talk. Is it? Oh no, we're right.
What are Hufflepuff patter?
What are they? Right, I know there's Slytherin and I know there's Hufflepuff. What's the rest of them?
Gavin.
There's Ravenclaw.
All right, okay.
Who are as far as I know, the smart ones.
Mm-hmm.
And Gryffindor.
They can fix PCs.
Yeah. And Gryffindors, who are the brave, good ones.
Right, okay.
So.
Okay.
The good guys.
The good, right, yeah. Okay, this is all getting coming up in any
oh, what?
No! No!
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Hello and welcome to I Hate Doctor Who, a podcast for people who hate and love Doctor Who alike. My name's Richie, and what we usually do in the show is I'll pull on someone who hates the show, someone from my life. I get them to tell me stuff that they like, and I find their perfect episode. So we're not doing that today. What we're doing instead is I've got on my first two guests returning. First off, who's going to go first? I'll say hi to Gav.
Hello,
from
Richie.
episode 1.
Hi.
How you doing, Gav?
I'm doing really well, Richie. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Did I say your full name? I always feel weird. Like, did I say Gav? Geshcaster?
Gavin Spence.
Gavin Spence. Sorry, yeah. So,
I'm rebranding.
So, hi, Gav. How you doing? How's life been since being on I Hate Doctor Who?
It's been a real whirlwind for me. You know, obviously, I've gained the ire of the Doctor Who community. It's tough for nearing 40-year-old cisgender white bald guy with a beard and glasses to get his point across on the internet.
Well, I should probably tell people, in case anyone's listening for the first time. So Gav was on the very first episode and we watched Robots of Death together. It was a bit of a success. I'd say Gav enjoyed it, but I don't think he immediately got into Doctor Who afterwards.
I still hate Doctor Who.
So this works, it's totally fine. And then after I left the show for far too long, him and his cohort Phil hijacked the show. I was completely unaware of it. I was on holiday and I started getting notifications for comments on a new episode of I Hate Doctor Who, and I discovered that Gav and Phil of Geshcast had taken over the show and done their own episode on Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Yeah, what a great episode.
It was good.
Many have said it's one of the better episodes.
I mean, I would say it was one of the better episodes, but yeah. So,
did you have a concern that you had been sleep podcasting when you saw those notifications come in?
There was I genuinely had a weird moment of like, did I do something? Yeah.
No, you didn't.
You do question yourself. No. Especially, the best thing was like, for the millisecond when you start it, it's me talking.
Yeah, that's a good trick on our part, I think, to fool your vapid audience.
So if you do go back through, if this is your first time and you go back through, look forward to that one because it's pretty good. And also returning is my good friend Owen O'Donnell, who was in my second episode. We
Hello.
watched The Green Death together. Hello, Owen.
We did The Green Death, and I enjoyed it, despite everything.
When he said hello.
I left that podcast with, of course, the big lie that I probably would watch some more, and the only other Doctor Who I've watched since was Greatest Show in the Galaxy to get the most out of that episode.
In the Galaxy.
The two of you didn't take too well to Great Show in the Galaxy, did you?
Well, the problem with Greatest Show in the Galaxy is it's not good in any kind of way.
No, that's fair, yeah.
I'd have to echo that sentiment, yeah. I think, for me, Doctor Who in general is like a regrettable tattoo. You know when you get one tattoo and then suddenly you go, the pain of getting the tattoo fades and you go, I wouldn't mind getting another one. And then you sit down in the chair and suddenly you go, oh, this is shite. I hate this.
How many tattoos have you got, Gav?
Personally, 0.
Right, okay.
But I am just speaking from, I guess what you call experience of others, living vicariously through other people who've made bad decisions.
Of course. So basically the situation here is that this is happening during the whole COVID lockdown thing, so we're all podcasting remotely, and we've all been sitting in our house sort of twiddling our thumbs and getting pretty bored, and I've basically just been missing my pals. So again, if this is your first time listening to this and none of you know this, me and Gav, frequently appear on Owen's podcast. So if you enjoy this, you can go and check out the Infinite Review, and also if you enjoy Gav, go and check out his podcast, many podcasts under the flag of Geshcast. But I decided to get them both back on just as an excuse for the three of us to chat, but also as a nice excuse for making them watch one of my favourite ones.
Name.
Name!
How did you get into the complex?
When did you first become a traitor?
Unless you cooperate, you'll soon be in front of a firing squad. You have very little time left.
My dear young lady, we all have very little time left.
Doctor, where did you go?
Parallel world, Liz. Terrible things are happening there. Terrible things.
Who sent you here?
Why did you come?
I don't exist in your world.
And you won't feel the bullets when we shoot you.
Unless we do something very, very quickly indeed, there's going to be a disaster. As long as you people go on drilling, you're rushing into terrible danger.
Are you coming with me quietly?
Stop this drilling! Stop this drilling!
Or do I shoot you here and now?
If you break through the Earth's crust now, you'll release forces you never dreamed could exist.
We have penetration 0, penetration 0, penetration 0.
You're opening like very nicely. I'd say almost apologetically.
Yeah.
Because you've made us watch 7 episodes of Doctor Who.
I know that you love a long podcast, but I didn't think when you said you want to watch some Doctor Who and then it was like 7 parts.
I didn't even remember it being 7 parts. It's like it was only after I suggested I went and looked, and it's like I thought it was at least a 6-parter. But yeah, so we're doing Inferno, which is obviously Third Doctor.
Obviously,
sorry. New to Gav, familiar for Owen. I have just chosen it as one of my favourites because
you're selfish.
I'm selfish. I want to watch as many
the
as
thing
possible.
I felt when I started watching this one was, having only previously seen The Green Death, it felt like if you had shown someone who'd never watched Doctor Who before, just those episodes, Green Death and then Inferno, you would think, this is not a show about a man who travels through space and time. This is a show about a man who drives around Wales annoying miners.
Yes.
It's not really Doctor Who-y, like to my mind what Doctor Who is like. It's very much like a different sort of show.
It's kind of interesting that because So this is the last story in the 7th series, which is John Pertwee's first year, and it's also the first year that was in colour.
What a finale!
And it was start of the 70s, sort of end of black and white Doctor Who. So they kind of had it's like a wee bit of a reboot in the sense that it's in colour. And at the end, basically, of the second Doctor's run, the Time Lords catch up with him and they punish him for running away, stealing a TARDIS, run away, and interfering with other planets, basically, and other, with historical events. And they force him to regenerate, and then they banish him to Earth. I probably should have given you all this. So basically what happens is his TARDIS is broken.
So I was going to ask all this, yes.
He's stuck in the is another thing. He's stuck in the late 70s.
So it's supposed to be the future?
Yeah, like 10 years, like not even 10 years, but a wee bit in the future. And he's gotten a job with UNIT, basically. And a lot of it's about him trying to get the TARDIS working again. But interestingly, when they decided to set the show with no time travel and no space travel, what was left to the writers was either mad scientists or alien invasions. So you get a lot of these stories where he's running about the home counties and with these sort of sinister companies doing stuff and kind of, and there's usually an alien or some madness behind it. But
if they had kept that format longer, there's a chance we could have seen the Doctor ride the Miracle Express.
Oh, don't. That would have been that's the ultimate, really, isn't it?
Such a niche joke.
Like, trying to jumpstart the TARDIS by getting the Miracle Express to go fast enough. Just rip off Back to the Future 3.
Got to go through this big paper mache wall.
It's all coming. The joke's all coming together for me now. I get it. Is Freddie Mercury still on the back performing?
As long as he doesn't interfere with history, aka save Freddie Mercury, then yeah, you're going.
We have to insist that you don't save Freddie Mercury.
Doctor Who bursting into that bathhouse. Stop!
The Doctor's like, I'm not really into Queen, to be honest with you. You could save him? No.
There's no way the Doctor does not love Queen canonically. Simply because it's a British institution. Like, of course, the Doctor just, by default, loves all things cool Britannia.
Yeah, crying a little bit when they play Under Pressure at the proms. Waving two little flags, little UK flags.
Oh god, I was about to think. I was thinking, like, should I explain a Queen video to the audience? But all of them definitely know.
Yeah, if you're listening to a Doctor Who podcast, you're a massive fan of Queen.
I got 10 minutes in and I had to comment.
The Miracle Express could not achieve speeds. Yeah.
Now!
So basically Inferno, I mean, one of the things I love about, like, that era of Doctor Who, I love all the sort of crap industrial locations and stuff that it has, and it has this sort of weird rundown, like, I love the location. I think it's like some sort of coal ore processing or something in Leeds.
Yeah, no, like
and,
that.
I love the kind of industrial. It feels very post-apocalyptic. It has this kind of misty, crappy British haze over it, which...
Yeah, no, I think it really reminded me of, especially when they went and did the outside shots, like, it was so dirty and manky. Yeah. And I thought, like, I want a right good play around on all that stuff. Like, it really reminded me of, like, those adverts about, like, playing in industrial areas. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know, like, those that it would obviously really frighten you when you were little. Like,
yeah,
you know, like, over-the-top 70s commercials. But it made me think about, like, did you ever get to experience in real life the thrill of playing on a construction site? Like,
I don't think so, no.
Yep.
Climbing on scaffolding, tearing your back open on, like, exposed metal.
I think it was seeing the steps that were made out of a single cinder block.
Yep.
At one point was a real, like, like, the thought of this is like a futuristic complex, but you see that cinder block and you go, Yes. Yes, I know exactly what's going on here.
I know. And I remember when initially getting into Doctor Who, when in the context of like liking television sci-fi as it is now, and especially like if you like a British show, you're probably going to get like 6 episodes every 2 years or something. But it really sort of confused me that Doctor Who seemed to be on all the time. And it's because they were just belted. It was essentially shot almost like a soap. They were just belting out episode after episode after episode, and they would literally shoot them and it would be on TV like 3 weeks later, because it was just because of the way it was shot. But because of what it is, and because it needs to be inventive, there's a real inventiveness from the kind of creative team on trying to find good angles and just mad locations and just trying to do lots of, there's a nice kind of homemade feel to it, but with resources as well.
Lots of trying.
Yeah.
Very much.
But like with all that, but with like real professionals doing it, so that's kind of what's fun about it. Like I was watching there's a few stunts in it. You probably noticed that some people fall from high. Like there's a guy that falls off a tower.
Yeah.
And it's like really, really high. And they show the photos in the special features, and it's literally he's falling onto layers of cardboard boxes with a layer of mattresses on top. And these are professionals. They were a professional stunt team. And the guy's being interviewed. He's like, oh yeah, for every 10 feet you just have a layer of cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But you have to, he's like, but you have to fall flat, because if you fall, like if your hand is pointing down the way, it just goes straight through the cardboard. You'll just go straight through the cardboard boxes and hit the ground. I'm just like, what? And like, obviously just health and safety in the 70s is just obviously just like, we'll just get the actors up there, we'll just get them up there running about on mad scaffolding and stuff, and it'll be fine.
Well, that's what I felt like when I think there's like a car chase scene where someone breaks their leg or something in real life, like one of the actors.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's meant to jump out the way of the car and he just gets hit.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me, because that was one of my notes as I was watching, that when the Doctor hops in his car and starts doing that escape, there's some very, very near misses. And I thought that the situation was probably like, oh, like that one was so close that it was definitely dangerous, but they might as well use the footage if they got it. Yeah. But now I'm hearing, actual injuries. Well, yeah.
That's just, it is like a lot of it's down to the fact that they had a really good stunt team on the show, which I think was unusual. But there is a total madness to it. But also the kind of, the crap kind of, like you'll notice as well, I don't know if you maybe didn't notice, but compared to say other episodes of Doctor Who, it looks very fuzzy. I won't go into this for too long because it's obviously very nerdy and very technical. Go for
it, man. Let's hear it.
So at this point, it was still a point when they would film an episode, put it onto a tape, but the videotapes were too expensive, so they would tape over them.
You can edit out the sound of me tapping my watch.
And like, so basically the only way that they had to, the one thing that happened is that they would sell the tapes overseas, but before they could sell the tapes to America, they had to convert it to NTSC. So that would be sent over to America, and the only way they could get the episode back was from an American TV station, because the BBC just taped over everything, like your dad. But
like David.
So when they got the tape back, they had to convert it back to PAL, and obviously the process is just wobbly, and it's good enough, but it has this kind of oldie, crappy video vibe to it, which brings something to it as well. So it's got this really creepy, horror-y edge to it, but with a nostalgic 70s BBC thing going on.
So we can't blame BritBox for the quality.
No.
We can blame BritBox for a lot of things, though. Having used it for this, the first time I've ever been on BritBox was to watch this, and oh my god, that is a shit service.
Shitbox.
More like shitbox. Yes, Richie, exactly.
I know there's no subtitle options.
Really?
None?
Terrible episode skip as well. Like if you're wanting to watch Inferno, you click on that and it's like, okay, episode 1, here we go. It's like, no, I want a list of episodes.
Oh.
And it's like, no, mate.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
But it does have one foot in the grave. So I was like, ba-da-ba-ba.
Yeah, I'll tell you now, I only watched about half of Inferno, and then I was on the Keeping Up Appearances.
Oh, yeah.
But if you have any questions about Richard or Oslo or the dog that would bark at Mrs. Bouquet.
What was Hyacinth's sister's name?
That's series 2.
It's Rose.
Rose.
Every time she it's my sister Rose, dear.
Rose is definitely viewed by the
Why do I remember all
Keeping Up
this?
Appearances fan base as the Scrappy Doo of the show.
But she really came into her own during that film.
Yeah, that's true. The B plot that she had in the movie.
The Bouquet residence, the lady of the house speaking.
So getting into Inferno. Yeah, I guess I never really gave you guys any background on it. I just kind of threw you in, and obviously you've done like Unit and the Brigadier and all that before. But Gav, your experience of Doctor Who previously was Tom Baker in Space and Robots.
Yes.
So you've got a whole bunch of new characters,
especially John Pertwee. Like, cause I've got no experience with him as the Doctor. So like the first time I saw him really was that big daft face that he pulls in the intro credits.
He's quite an interesting one because I think on initial when you look at him, he's quite a grumpy one.
Well,
but
that's
then the more you watch him, he's quite silly.
He's not going to be a fun Doctor by the look of him. Like, he looks stern and uncompromising, which is a far cry from Tom Baker. But it looks like an alcoholic uncle who's going to maybe give you a fiver. You know, if he comes round your mum and dad's and he's leaving at like 12:30. You're like, oh, he's been around for ages, and he gives you a fiver on the way out. Like,
he's definitely the handshake money give.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You know, goes for the handshake, and you move away, and he's like, oh my god, it's the lowest denomination of paper money. But I kind of like the idea of a Doctor Who, he looks stern and grumpy, but there is a bit of fun. I think I'd prefer that to the ones that are like, they look wacky, they look fun as hell, but sometimes they get serious. And you can't really buy the seriousness as much if they're wearing the Riddler's green body morph suit, you know?
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think the grumpy alco uncle who can also dress up as a maid to sneak into a chemical plant or milk factory, I think that's kind of good.
He had the Aikido as well. Although, was it karate in Inferno? I can't remember.
Venusian karate.
Oh yeah, when he goes
Venusian
hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. Like, at first I thought he's not going to be a fun Doctor, but then I've got it in my notes here for episode 1. The first thing is the Doctor driving fucking Brum. And he's singing opera, and I think to myself, oh no, he's wacky. Oh no, I don't want him to be wacky. And he wasn't really, but that intro, that was like, it couldn't get much more look at me, how look like Parp in his wee car singing away, and you're like, oh god,
Squirting the assistant with a flower with spritzer.
It is funny, actually. I must have told the story on this podcast before, but like my old boss, watched Doctor Who at the time when he was a kid, and of course, I don't think about it. I never thought about it this way at all. But when he'd been watching it for like 7 years, you got William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton. It's all black and white, all in space and all that. And he's like, and all of a sudden he's driving a fucking clown car, and he's got a job in the army. What? I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I guess if you thought this is it, then you might be kind of annoyed. But obviously, because there's so much of it, I'm just like, well, I've got other stuff here and there. It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Richie's like, oh, I never thought about it from someone else's perspective.
You'll be hearing a lot of that tonight.
I do like the two guys, like they tried to sort of establish the banter at the factory at the beginning. The two guys that meet each other, and it's like, they're still on the drilling. Oh, it's like a bleeding dentist.
I've got that down here. Like, when he goes into the building, and it honestly took me 4 tries going back and forward to find out what the hell they were saying.
This was the point at which I was checking to see if subtitles were available.
Yeah,
they were.
like, This guy's going to be a yes, bloody dentist. Like, what are you talking about?
I really wanted the
as well.
subtitles because all 7 episodes are bedded with the sound of industrial machines, as well as just the general muffly audio quality of the period.
And then it gets to a point where it's like it's bedded with the sound of the world exploding. Yeah.
When I told my friends who have, like, I've got some pals who are massive Doctor Who fans, and I try and keep both of you separate, and also them.
They call themselves Whovians, Gavin.
Oh, okay, sorry. Again, that's my bad. They were saying like, "Oh, no way! Like, Inferno's amazing. I'm so jealous you get to see it for the first time." And you're like, I like these people a lot. I love them. They're my friends, but they were wrong.
So you didn't enjoy it?
No, I would say I enjoyed it less than Robots of Death. Not to get too into the review part right now, but I think the trailer oversold it.
Oh, those trailers. I shouldn't have sent you the trailer.
I was like, this looks amazing. And then, like, there's about 3 episodes where nothing happens.
As long as we're doing this,
shite.
I think if I was shown this as this is a great Doctor Who, I would think, well, Doctor Who's not great.
Well, that's what my friends were telling me, though. It's one of the best ones. It's one of my favourites. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Oh, I'm so jealous you get to watch it for the first time. And I'm like, oh, this is the 70s version of the fucking Matrix.
Maybe my boss was right. But like, I was watching it with the two of you in mind, and when you're doing that, you sort of start to get a wee bit more edgy, but a bit more cagey about it. And you are right, like towards the end, you're like, okay, this could have been maybe even 5 episodes, not 7. And in fairness, I watched the features in the DVD, and like the script editor was the first thing he does is moans about how many episodes it is, because I think after that series they went back down to just doing 4 episodes stories. But he says it's a hangover from like the previous year. Like all the stories were about 6 or 7, like they were really long. And but like interestingly, the story itself was originally meant to just be about the drilling. And apparently,
I'm afraid that comes through, because there were long stretches of it where I thought, is there still a sort of monster going around?
I could have sworn.
And there was like a couple of people have been killed.
Yeah.
And it's just
that's someone else is dealing with that. It's
But the thing is, like, he's not really, because like it's the unit commander is always like, I've got bloody people who have been murdered, and I'm investigating that, but they constantly cut back to him just being in his office. You're not doing anything.
He's not doing the investigation himself. He's got people he can delegate it to.
The guy, the really awkward guy.
Brigadier, the guy with the tash.
Yeah, that's his name. Okay,
Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. Yeah. The thing I found quite interesting actually was that apparently the idea came from the writer had read about 2 attempts to penetrate the Earth's crust, and one was by the Russians and one was by the Americans. And the American one happened out at sea, and with no explanation they abandoned the project. So apparently he phoned the American consulate. He's like, why did you stop drilling? And they were like, we'll get back to you. And then they came back to him and went, no, that's top secret. I can't tell you why.
Also,
like,
who are you?
I know. I just assumed that in the past these sorts of things happened all the time. Nobody was like, who? What? Why do you need to know this? But
we had that on our show Supernatural Entertainment System. It was about the Russian one, and that was about the creature that apparently was found that could mimic a human.
What?
Yeah, the Russian one was apparently like it managed to mimic some of the crew to get on board. That's the big conspiracy theory around that as well.
See, that, if they'd known that at the time, they might have had a different...
You were about to say something better, but something different. I'm suddenly now really sympathetic towards everyone who's involved with any kind of scientific research, because they must be getting calls constantly asking questions about it and think, sorry, who is this? Because, well, I'm a writer for Doctor Who. And we haven't found any fucking goblins or...
Good.
So they had this story, it was about drilling, and then the script editor and the producer were like, we can't get 7 episodes of drilling. That's just not going to work. So the script editor came up with the idea of having the alternate universe thing, which is obviously just a very overly done thing now, but... And Star Trek had done it already at this point. But anyway, it also meant, he says, we can't have an episode where you're drilling and the threat is that the world explodes and then you stop it and nothing happens. So we're going to have an alternate universe where everything bad happens, then you can come back and stop it. And then obviously that wasn't enough, so they added the Primords as the...
I like you say, obviously that wasn't enough.
The destruction of 2 universes.
I put it to you that it would have been.
Yeah.
But just as a 4-part.
As a 4-part, yeah. I kind of like the Primords though, because they're that weird noise they make. They make that weird noise, and obviously in the script someone's written something else, so that when the Brigadier asks the Doctor, have you heard anything like that before? And he's like, yeah, at Krakatoa. And it's like, Krakatoa did not sound like that. Surely that weird sort
I
of...
bet you Krakatoa didn't sound like that, Doctor. I think the Primords, I like the look of them in theory, but when obviously your budget is low and the makeup's not great, as a director or someone who worked on the photography side of it, I'd be like, let's keep them in the shadow, let's not give too many close-ups. But in every episode they're in, they love to do a full zoom into their face as they walk towards the camera. So you see the plastic fangs, you see the edges of them around their mouths.
Gav, do you know what's hilarious is I don't see it like that at all, but it's because I've watched so much Doctor Who that I'm looking at it and going, they look great.
Don't get me wrong.
No, I mean that's fair. That's just that's part of what this show's about. It sort of takes it away from my kind of whatever tinted glasses I have about the show.
Yeah,
the cold reality of your view.
I'm going through a colour wheel in my mind to think what lenses I would put in front of your rose tinted glasses to neutralise that.
As soon as the tin goes in, there's all the DVDs in the bin. I watched 5 minutes. John, this is rubbish.
This is rubbish.
I do hate Doctor Who. It's a good thing I registered that domain. Just replacing all the podcasts with a photograph of yourself, and the logo. I do hate Doctor Who.
I do hate Doctor. Before we get started on an episode by episode basis, I'm assuming that's what you're doing, Richard.
Yeah.
Richie, are you already fed up with your own podcast?
No, I'm kidding. I wasn't planning to do it episode by episode, but yeah.
You better be fucking kidding, because I've got notes for every episode, Richard.
Oh, I mean, I'll go through all your notes, man.
No, okay. This might sound stupid, right? But do the Doctor Who community share a larger affection for Brum because of Doctor Who riding around in essentially a massive version of Brum?
How similar is it to Brum, really?
It's very similar. I mean, I've got episode by episode notes, and I have Brum.
I just think that when I was coming back from Birmingham after TF Nation, I was in the airport and I looked over and they had a little ride-in kids Brum.
Oh,
and I was I got my picture taken with it.
Is Brum still kicking about?
Brum's still driving around.
Brum's still relevant, man.
Did they say the car's name in the episode?
I think it's called Brum.
No.
Dr. Brum.
Dr. Brum.
It's called Bessie.
Oh, of course it is.
They had some storyline in the first episode where he steals the car, and then he asked the Brigadier if he can keep it, and the Brigadier's like, no, but we'll get you another one. And it's like, where are you getting another one from?
Another one of them?
Everyone was driving around in those.
Are there any instances where the Doctor ghost rides the whip?
What?
No. Sorry. Continue with your show.
What does that mean?
You never seen Ghost Riding the Whip?
No.
Oh my god! Right, okay, I'll send you some videos after this.
Hopefully, where's it from? When's it from?
It's just like you never see that where like people would get out of their cars, they'd keep the American car, they'd keep it in drive, and they'd go very, very slowly along the road. Then they'd get out and start dancing alongside the car. It's known as Ghost Riding the Whip.
Right. Okay.
I would love to see the Doctor do that with Brum. That's all I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure there is a fight sequence out or something that happens out like with the car's stationary, and it just moves every time someone touches it. It rolls forward like it's got no brakes.
Oh, like Brum.
Car with a mind of its own.
Brum is an absolute don, man.
So, I tell you, when I was watching it and he drives into the hangar, and all I was thinking about is like, oh, he got to drive that. Imagine driving a car indoors.
Now save this for the episode by episode breakdown.
Sorry.
My notes.
So I don't want a backseat edit here, but Sting, and the Sting has David Tennant saying episode by episode breakdown. And then you have the first Doctor saying episode 1, and then second Doctor obviously says episode 2, and so on.
Do you have a soundboard there?
So yeah, okay, let's dive in.
Yes. Well, Richie, now I'm going to have to ask you to do your best first Doctor impression for episode 1.
Oh, episode 1?
That's going to be every one of them, isn't it?
Episode 1, yeah.
He gasps probably back.
I'm the first Doctor. Would you like a jelly baby?
Would you like a jelly baby? I actually watched a video today, a 7-minute long supercut of every time the Doctor offers a jelly baby.
No.
I watched that today. 7 minutes.
The first Doctor, would you like a jelly baby? Second Doctor, would you like a jelly baby?
Till you get to Capaldi. Would you like a jelly baby?
A wee jelly baby.
He's good, isn't he?
Does Sylvester McCoy do it?
Sylvester McCoy? I don't recall seeing his fat little face.
I think they maybe dumped it by then. It's a thing they love in the new series because they did it in the old series.
My friend took great offence to me saying the little fat one when I was talking about Sylvester McCoy.
Richie, might I suggest that you use sound bites from Sylvester McCoy's videos, his
cameo videos,
as your stings? It'll be things like wishing you a very merry day, Beth. Thank you.
Wishing you lots of frivolities on this day, your wedding day.
That's so far from what he sounds like. Oh my god. So,
episode 1.
So, episode 1.
Well, that was good.
Big drilling.
He's here. Well, I'll say this right from the top. Great titles.
Oh yes.
When I saw that lamp.
Oh, the exploding the volcano.
But it's the big the font Inferno. I was like, this is going to be good.
It's a solid font, man. I thought I called out the font as well. I was like, good on them, man.
It comes up
chunky.
like Bosh.
Yeah,
it is good, isn't it?
It was a real fuck you to the crowd.
Is
That
that,
was the last-
do all the episodes have that, or is that a...
So that's the last time in the show that they had like a wee video for the title of the story.
It's a shame
Because it's something they used to do in the... Also, it's the second time in the show that they've used that footage of the volcano. But obviously it's the past and they don't expect anyone to ever see anything again after it's been on. Little did they know.
Little did they know that it would be used in a masterpiece. I think whenever I don't know what it is about volcanoes, like in particular, especially flowing lava, that makes me feel very insignificant in the face of nature. So when I see that, I was just like, man, we're nothing. Like, imagine how good it would feel getting covered in lava.
I do often think, like, what would... Like, I'd love to pick it up. You know, just scoop it up in your hands.
Lava flow is very, very satisfying to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's very thick.
Much like the rest of the episode.
So we're going to talk about how the guy working in the drilling place sees the green ooze. Like, so you see green ooze and you think, well, we're still onto a winner here because it's got green ooze. But his instant reaction to discovering this green ooze, fingers straight in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't mess around with something like that.
Like, I mean, that's a sci-fi trope that never went away though, was it? That's like the guy who just put his finger right in.
It's like, I know we're jumping ahead, but like Stallman, when he gets his opportunity to get his hands on the green goo and it's straight on the face.
Oh yeah.
And it just made me think of when you're having a shower and the shampoo looks really tasty and you're like, the forbidden, like, oh, I'd love to eat that shampoo. Yeah. But Stallman took his chance. He's like, well, Earth's going to explode. So
might as well indulge.
I'm sure the stuff tastes great or smells amazing at least.
Well, it definitely has that look of like a Scottish limeade.
A thick Scottish limeade.
A thick Scottish lime, mucus-like in its consistency.
Scottish juice. It's just got so much sugar that it oozes instead of flows.
Yeah, really glugs out of that bottle.
Not anymore though, eh? I'm not going to get into that.
Since Maggie took away the...
Close the sugar mines.
Close the sugar mines, that bitch.
So yeah, episode 1, we're at a drilling plant, because that's nothing kids love more than a big industrial setting. And the Doctor seems to just be there to... He's only really there because he wants to try and get his TARDIS going. And the weirdest thing about this episode is that his TARDIS, he only has the console.
Yeah.
He's decided I could maybe just power... There's some sort of suggestion maybe that the power comes from the TARDIS, so he'd think he can time travel with just the control pad.
Yeah,
and hook up to...
that he had maybe built that, because I didn't know what the background was, so I didn't know where Liz had came from. I didn't know what I thought really he'd built that.
There was no build up to that.
Right.
That was just, we're here. We're here. I mean, other than the fact that the entire series, the Doctor's been frustrated that he can't leave. And it goes on for a wee while after that. He's stuck on Earth. And so yeah, he's got the console. And I think this is... I'm pretty... Let me be... Yeah, I think I'm about 99% certain there is no TARDIS set in this series at all. And that console is the prop, the original prop from the very beginning of the show, and that was the last time it was used, and it's pretty much fucked. It looks like scored and kind of worn away, and it's the last time they used it before they ended up building a new one and a new set and everything.
Would you like if that was the TARDIS set from now on, just like a garage?
To buy a big garage, yeah, with a car in it.
A couple of tools, old paint cans, and...
They never really explained as well what the need in having a remote control door was. And I'm assuming maybe it seemed like more sci-fi in 1970.
I'd say it's just about a privacy thing. You know, like the Doctor seems like someone who really values their privacy.
Well, you don't want to get in and out of Brum to open the doors and back in.
That is true, you're right. That's good. That's good.
He's got you there, Richie.
Did you? One thing I noticed about the doors of the garage that I'd noticed for the first time, even though I've watched
that was a blue
times.
screen effect, Richie.
No.
Yeah, that wasn't real though. That was post.
The exteriors were put in later. If you look close, you can see it.
There's a faint aura around the actors, which is a giveaway.
The doors, the windows and the doors.
They look like a TARDIS.
TARDIS doors. I didn't notice that last time.
You didn't notice? That was the first thing. I was
the
like,
first time I've noticed that.
oh my
Mental.
goodness.
Also, they are wafer thin.
Has to keep all that lava flow out.
But yeah, we got this dynamic where you've got, the professor working on the drill and everyone telling him that maybe
You're pushing it too hard, man.
Pushing it too hard to ease up. And then you got the brigadier there trying to keep everything under control, but also he's trying to get the doctor to do work while the doctor's like, no, fuck you, I've got my TARDIS to deal with. And we basically get 2 episodes of the thing about a parallel universe story is that you need a bit of time to establish the universe that you're in, I suppose. So we get 2 episodes of I'm trying to think what you would call the primary world.
Yeah.
And all the sort of the main characters and everything.
We're establishing the conflict and how much of an arsehole Stallman is.
But again, with Stallman, you've got another great Doctor Who kind of trope there, and that's the scientist who just won't listen to anyone.
Yeah,
and
he really needs his head kicked in.
And it will always be his undoing.
Yeah. Although I will say Stallman has such an incredible head of hair. Like, at times you're like, mate, you've obviously lost the roof. Get that head shaved. But then other scenes he just turns his head and you're like, I absolutely see why you're clinging to this.
I've got that in my notes. I've written down Stallman has the Just Let It Go.
I think it's just that the 70s, a lot of dudes were rocking that.
Yeah, it didn't matter back then. No one gave a shit. Like it's like how people like Toto could be rock stars despite the way that they looked. No one gave a shit about that back then.
I know. 70s rock stars were all ugly bastards. But I was going to say Stallman doesn't look much like a rock star, but then I remembered his evil Mirror Universe counterpart, which looks like something at Iblim Andy Warhol's crowd.
He's good. I will say
he is good.
The actor is very good at playing an arrogant guy.
Yeah.
I come from a parallel space-time continuum.
Obviously, he is trying to confuse us, leader.
So, let me put it this way. I've been transported from another world. One that is running almost parallel to this one.
He's unbalanced.
No, I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to make us believe that he's mad. But it won't work, my friend.
By the time the split universe thing happened, your concerns are then are just split in so many ways. Mm-hmm. Like, because you're worried, how is the Doctor getting back? That's a massive one. But also, there are monsters killing people, but also there's the drill that's going to blow up the world. And it's also happening twice. So, like, as soon as you're thinking, there's a bit too much going on here, it's like, let's literally double it. But I suppose if there's a good side to that, it's that as it got closer to the end, I was actually thinking, and very, very often you'll watch stuff and you're not really thinking, how are they going to get out of this one? Because you're so used to formulas and stuff, you've got to generate. I can see them wrapping this up, but I was thinking, how is this going to be resolved? Because there's so much happening.
Yeah.
Well, very much it's resolved in very much the same way that all the other Doctor Who episodes that I've seen are resolved. Which is the Doctor just fiddles about a bit, then comes out like, that's it, done, and then
I think the thing, like, one of the things I like about those first 2 episodes is just watching kind of the Doctor. he's kind of invested in what's going on, but he's not really. He's only really invested in getting his TARDIS working, and a lot of that is just him manipulating everyone so that he can get the power that he needs.
Yeah. Well, I think,
and then when Liz Shaw runs into the garage and he's holding onto the TARDIS, and he's got this look of like, bye. And
is that when it turns into a 90s music video?
I hated that scene so much. Like, genuinely scarier than any of the monsters in that.
What? Oh, the weird camera effects.
Yeah, just like all the like stretching his face and.
I was going to say, there's another like opportunity for John Pertwee's face to do its thing.
Honestly, and like the abruptness of his return and the sound mix is so loud, like it totally reminded me again of those public information films. Yeah. How scary they were. Like it was just this big like, boom! Don't play with gas. You know, I was like, this is too much. It's so like without the B. Well, I say the B plots, they're all the same in terms of urgency, but you could by the end of the whole 7 parts, the actual like shutting down the drill, the Doctor does himself in about 15 seconds. So if they didn't have that stuff, it would be pretty like it seems that anyone could really have solved that whole drill thing. Like there's no need for the Doctor to be involved in any way.
Professor Stallman, please! What's happening? What's going on in there?
The thing that's funny about Stallman and like that character type appearing all the way through Doctor Who is that I guess at the time like that figure was probably an authority figure in a lot of children's lives. Like that sort of like grumpy British I'm right all the time.
You boy.
Yeah.
I've got actually like in my notes saying again Stallman grabs the jar with the liquid despite the Doctor's advice, and I'm left wondering if anything is striking Owen right now.
I do enjoy, and it definitely must have been fun for the children in the audience who had that feeling of this guy represents arsehole adults. The Doctor responding to Stallman's arrogance by essentially saying, "I tried," and leaving.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he was going to keep fighting or like try to be like reason with him further, but when he's like, "Well, lump you." I mean, you're clearly not interested. So I'm going to go away.
You just have an air of like, oh hell mend you.
More than my job's worth.
Like it kind of falls to Greg, the sort of drill expert guy. He's the sort of voice of reason for a long time.
Yeah,
and they try and shoehorn a sort of romance.
A weird romance with Petra.
Even though he's a total like misogynist, also he does nothing to endear himself to whatsoever. He's like, "All right, darling."
There are some choice lines like, "Don't ask any questions. There's a good girl."
Yeah. Like, what has he possibly done to endear himself?
Oh no, is that a Greg line?
No, that was the Doctor.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Don't ask
he's
any
talking
questions.
to Liz. Yeah. And then she smiles and she's like, "Oh, okay."
No, you're right. You've convinced me with by just telling me to shut up.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it's so weird. The one thing I did notice about Greg, the drill expert, was that when he spoke to other actors, I don't know if this is an actor's trick, but he almost looked exclusively at the other actor's chin.
It's like he's talking to Jar Jar Binks. always just a little bit off.
Yeah.
And the actor's masterclass.
Yeah, exactly.
Always look at your co-star's chin. Like do you know when Thatcher was being interviewed, I think it was she always looked at the top of the interviewer's head,
right?
And it always
to look
was like,
more
down,
but also
if you're talking to someone that's constantly looking at the top of your head, you're always slightly uneasy.
Yeah, especially if you're baldy.
So maybe he was doing that.
The Doctor should have talked to Stallman like that. Like just stare at Stallman's comb over, and eventually he just breaks and goes, "All right, fine, turn it off."
Doctor's like, you want to shave that off, mate? Everyone's like, I called him out on it, man.
Keep drilling that fucking shop. Lost all the respect.
Starman's like, I was in the hairdressers earlier. So, what were you in there for? To read the meter? Everyone's like,
Did they need some drilling done?
How is Sir Keith? Yes, now there's a man who might understand.
What do you know about Sir Keith?
Only that he's the executive director of this project. Yes, I should very much like to see him.
Would you indeed?
Indeed, I would. And failing that, Professor Stallman. He's an opinionated oaf, I know, but at least he's a scientist.
Very well.
Are you taking this man to see the director?
Why not? Whoever he is, he'll never leave here alive.
I assumed that the reason everyone in this alternate universe was a total arsehole was not just because that's the way these things go, and that, you know, it brings more drama to the Doctor's situation, but also it would be just too much of a downer if there was nice people there knowing they're all fucked.
What I was going to say about it was that they're not all, like, we've got bad Brigadier and bad Liz, the two main characters, but everyone else is basically the same. They just dress differently.
yeah, there's definitely a more
Like,
fascistic
Greg
overtone
still
to it.
fancies Petra, and they still have the same dynamic. Stallman's still exactly the same and wants to do the same thing, except he's just a little bit sharply dressed.
Look, man,
which
you should
obviously
be surprised at someone fancying Petra in a different dimension. That's going to be a universal constant.
No, Richie, you can't ruin this theory because then it's just too sad. You have to assume that every man, woman, and child was evil.
Was it
and,
all evil?
and their pets. All the cats and dogs. I mean, you think about it, everyone on Earth dies. So they all had to be bastards.
Yeah, I think that's
it
a
was
fair
fine
way
because
to
they
look
were
at
all
it.
evil. And
I think
they had executed the royal family, so it's...
Yeah, I've got that in my notes. I was like,
Once he's in evil universe and they don't know who he is, and they're like, I just got off the phone to head office. They've no one to matching that description. And you think, you've just phoned someone and said, there's like describe him. Is kind of an older gentleman.
Where's the
grey hair? There's we've got nobody who looks like this.
it looks kind of like if Dracula was going to the opera. No one of that description.
He's
here.
driving Brum.
You know Brum?
I suppose they don't have Brum in Evil Earth.
I suppose we don't have Brum in Evil World, do
Under
we?
the dictatorship.
They drive around in calm.
The bad Brum. What a horrible idea.
Oh, it's so grim.
But like when he goes to the parallel universe and they immediately start shooting at him, and he's like, right, I got to get away. And I was quite impressed with John Pertwee's how agile he was and how sprightly he was. But yeah, you know, he's climbing up and down ladders, jumping about, driving his wee Brum. Yeah, like
he was
the
the total action man doctor. Like he was, he was because he was kind of into it as well. He wanted to do all the stunts and stuff.
I mean, he certainly goes full Dominic Toretto in that car.
I know, like, see when the guy jumps at him on the car and then he swings back and hits him and the guy falls back. It's like the wide shot of the car going round a corner as well.
I sat
Apparently
up.
that's all him.
Yeah, like I kind of looked back a few times to go like, did they swap out for a stuntman? Or was Pertwee driving that car?
It was Pertwee driving the car.
Mental. Imagine that. Again, I know it's one of those things like these days that wouldn't happen, but he was really tooling about in that car.
The Stig revealed from the planet.
Never hear about the Stig anymore.
Thank God. It's one of the few small mercies of the modern world.
When I go to my mum and dad's house to visit, when you sit down on the toilet, across from there's a little shelf and there's a little statue of the Stig facing you. He just surveys you as you do your business.
Well, at least he has to suffer that humiliation.
What are you waiting for? Stop this drilling and start filling up that shaft.
We penetrate the Earth's crust and all starts going very wrong. And you're right. Like when you sent me a message while you were watching it, it's like I've got to episode 5 and I've just written down that people just seem to be running about.
Yeah, there's a long stretch where the whole thing is basically just reduced to what it was in the other universe, but everyone's just a bit more of an arse.
Yeah,
and that's about it. Like that's really about. I tell you what, though, for like a totalitarian fascist regime, they let the Doctor away with a lot of lip.
Yeah, they did,
and just like a lot of like, listen, if you mouth off 5 or 6 more times. And then he's like messing about with the computers, and they're like, "Hey!"
I know he's messing about the computer, and then Benton. I think Benton's going to shoot him, and Liz is like, "Well, let him have a go.
Let him have a shot." Imagine the Doctor was put in a firing squad. Maybe he'd probably survive because they'd probably miss one of his 4 hearts.
Well, I did really like when I was watching this. I was thinking like the amount of times he just gets away. I mean, obviously, like it becomes a joke later on. It's like never let the Doctor talk because that's how he gets out of situations. But and he's a pacifist, obviously. But you can't just go about being a cheeky bastard to a boy with a gun, you know?
Yeah, no, that's all he is through the entire thing. It's just like he's an indignant swine, and that's how you should be. You should stand up to these people, Richie.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But then obviously the writer's like, and then he didn't get shot.
In my notes, I have Lib Dem taxi driver. Because of this scene where the taxi driver has taken the guy who could save everyone off the track, but admits that they didn't want to, and they will bring them to the thing. And it's this really frustrating kind of, yes, I did kowtow to evil, but I kind of know that I did. And now I want to set things right, and then instantly drives into a truck.
I was like, watch the road.
It's like, watch the road instead of explaining what a fucking idiot you've been.
Yeah, that was a weird scene.
It's worth mentioning that was in the Prime. I feel like it's such a wanker saying these things. In the Prime universe.
Yeah.
Because obviously we'd already established that the car had crashed and Sir Keith had been killed.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad about this stuff, man. The people listening to this kind of show, you need to keep them on track.
No, I know. Look,
it's for children.
It's a kid's show.
I know. I just don't like using words like Prime Universe as if I'm sitting here writing the wiki. I don't even know what they call it on the wiki.
God bless them. Those beautiful boys in blue on the wiki.
There's also I also wonder like if he went back. I'm going to go back to that universe. Oh, they're all dead.
Yeah, that's them. I mean, like when they're in that universe, obviously the Doctor gets slammed in a jail cell.
Yeah.
And I've written down. This is a really good joke that I wrote down. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for this one? When the Doctor is in the jail cell, John Pertwee's wee belly is amazing. Nothing Pertwee about that.
Has he got a wee belly?
He does have a wee belly. He's still much more athletic than I'll ever be, though.
So, is the reason that the Doctor has no interest in helping these clearly real people in this alternate dimension? There's probably multiple alternate dimensions, but he's just so burned from, I went there and they were arseholes, man. put me in a prison cell. Even the Brigadier was, I mean, he's always a bit of a sap.
Yeah.
He was a mega sap. So just fuck him. I put that drill in the ground myself. Like it had stopped just before penetrating the crust, and he just gave it one big kick from the top.
Well, I mean, that's how, like, because the Doctor, again, as we've noted in other episodes, has no consequences for his choices or his actions. So he can do that. He can make that decision. If he had to write a report a la Jean-Luc Picard at the end of all this, and it went to a superior, and they were like, "You did what?" I let the universe die. the planet died, and I let it happen more or less, and I refused to take anyone with me. And
I mean, there has to be a certain point where you're like, look, I can't help you. I'm sorry, but I can and do need to get back to somewhere else where they haven't made this mistake yet.
I'm up against it. So
there is a line about like cosmic entropy or something like that, about like causing a dimensional paradox if you took any of them back.
I was convinced,
but
he's gonna save whoever is like the nice person here. He's definitely gonna take a nice person back. I did not expect it to be, I'm sorry about yous.
Smell you.
And then like
it was like a literally
completely mood ruining, just instant frame disappearance. Bing.
He took his car with him.
Do you notice that the car,
just like everyone in the car,
he changes dimensions. The car turns around during the yeah, so that he can drive out. So you don't have a scene of him looking in the mirror, reversing.
Oh man.
Yeah, so no, you're right. We get a big, so we get the big climactic destruction of the Earth, and the best thing about it is that after all that happens, it's like, right, one more episode where none of that happens.
Yeah. We're going to give you the big finale and now a full episode.
Oh, a big episode of I'm going to go back and switch everything off. And it'll be fine.
The biggest moment of the penultimate episode is the Doctor acknowledging the existence of Batman.
Yes. I've got this in my notes as well.
Which, of course, just opens up so much. I shouldn't start talking about Batman in earnest on the I Hate Doctor Who podcast.
No.
But it was one of those moments that really made me realise Batman's been around for ages.
Forever. Yeah.
To be watching something from 1970 and someone's dropping Batman is clearly already a huge cultural thing.
Yeah.
That it works. And well, Batman?
Yeah, he's been around like for about 30 years at that point.
Yeah. And he wasn't a boring, moody wanker back then.
Oh,
hey, come on now.
Welcome to I Hate Batman.
Because we know Doctor Who has visited the Marvel Universe and has run into characters like Death's Head who have had crossovers with the Transformers. We know this.
Why does Doctor Who refuse to meet the Transformers?
Why does he refuse to meet the Transformers? This is why I hate him.
I don't like them.
But who would win between Batman and the Doctor?
Who would win between Batman and Starscream?
I mean, who's most likely, Richie? You have to cast Batman meets the Doctor. Which Doctor is most likely
to beat him?
Not to cross over with Batman and team up with him.
Who would have the least truck with the Joker?
Okay, tell you what. You tell me what kind of Batman we're talking about, and then I'll tell you.
Okay, Adam West.
Okay. Adam West Batman. The wee fat guy.
I'd see Adam West with
the two wee fat guys.
I would pair Adam West with Tom Baker. Might be too much, so I'm going to go for second Doctor, Patrick Troughton.
Okay,
what an absolutely worthless bit of information.
The second I asked the question in a joking manner, I regretted it. But
you regret it because I gave it thought.
If you can think of a good Batman and Doctor to meet up, why don't you let us know down in the comments?
Final countdown commences now.
Do you think even this late in the game, episode 7, did you still not laugh necessarily, but still find penetration 0 to be a little bit funny?
In the final episode, the Doctor has a chair smashed over his back.
Yeah,
and
like fucking Hulk Hogan. Just gets right back up.
Yeah, fuck! I should have wrote that down. Yeah, you're right. I watched it last night, and it was with the bit then when he smashes the chair over him, and he just gets up. And he doesn't even go It's just
that's those 4 hearts, though.
Yeah, exactly. Pumping all that Venusian blood through his veins.
Not biting.
But like, also the other thing that made me laugh was a lot of talk in the last episode about the number 2 output pipe.
Sir Keith, I think you better give orders for that shaft to be filled in straight away.
Indeed, I will.
The actor Liz that plays Liz, that's her last episode. She only did 1 year.
Oh.
Which is a shame because she's really good. But on hold on, see if I can find it. On the wiki, I was reading it. There's 2 myths in the myth section of the Inferno wiki. Myth 1: the parallel universe aspect of the story was added to the scripts at the production team's suggestion to ensure that there was sufficient material to fill 7 episodes. Though Terrence Dicks has claimed this in several documentaries, the parallel universe aspect was present as far back as Don Houghton's original story outline. It actually appears to have been the Primords who were added at the production team's suggestion. So everything I said at the start is wrong.
Well, only according to that.
To the wiki.
I mean,
but not according to the special features on the DVD. Okay, but this is the one that's particularly harsh. This was Caroline John's last story as Liz, as she was pregnant and could not return for the following season. Although it is true that the actress was pregnant, Barry Letts was unaware of this when he decided against renewing her contract.
Just getting a nice little...
That was
just a
nice
really subtle... Do you know, that's when loads of people are beating someone up and someone just goes out for that one kick and they're off again. And no one else can see.
I mean, it is true that, like, I guess Doctor Who fans want to get all the information they can, and it's a wiki's job to do that. So if that information is out there, they feel duty-bound to put it in. But it offers absolutely no extra insight or value to add that last bit in. It's just cruel.
It's pretty cruel.
Yeah.
So it is a weird one, I guess.
Should we brush off this bad atmosphere with a Doctor Who quiz?
Ow.
Taken straight from the British Broadcasting Corporation. What'd you say, Richie?
Speak up, boy.
This is about to close this wiki.
Yeah. Get those tabs minimized, boys. Okay. Now, I'm trusting you to not be looking.
Yeah, I think I'll be all right.
Okay. Question 1.
He's looking at something. Look at him on the video.
It's been minimizing.
I can see it in his glasses.
Can you see his glasses?
He's got just Doctor Who facts.
The answers, it says.
Okay, now I'm going to ask a question, and you're going to say your name if you've got the answer, and then I'll take it. Okay. Question 1. What year did the extraterrestrial exterminators, the Daleks, first appear in the British science fiction television programme Doctor Who? Richie.
Gavin. Oh. Richie.
1963?
Correct.
Son of a bitch.
Question 2.
I was unsure because the show started towards the end of 63, so it was like...
Question 2.
Sorry.
Who was the first Doctor to appear in the Doctor Who title sequence?
Gavin.
Gavin?
I actually know this one. It was the second Doctor.
Oh, he's...
Is he right, Richie?
He's right, yeah.
He's right.
Yeah.
So that's 1 each. Question 3. In which classic Doctor Who story were we first introduced to the Cyber Planner?
Oh, Gavin.
Gavin?
That is the wheel in space.
Fuck off! You've got the answers. No danger.
That's just been.
It is the wheel in space. I also would have accepted the wheel in time.
Oh yeah.
Right. Question 4. Who was the first Doctor Who character to encounter the extraterrestrial exterminators, the Daleks, on screen?
Oh, Gavin.
Gavin?
Oh, what's her name? It was Barbara Wright.
Oh, you...
Barbara Wright, that's what I have.
Yeah, I think it was Barbara Wright. I thought it was.
Question 5.
It's a fun game.
According to the Fourth Doctor in the classic 1979 serial, The Creature from the Pit,
Oh, yeah.
what is his lucky number?
Oh, Gavin. Now, if I get this 1 or 2 digits off, don't hold it
Gavin?
against me. Come it's always from memory. 70. Oh, 74,384, 338.
I'll give it to you. It's
Okay, okay.
It's 74,384,000. Yeah. No,
I mean, I wouldn't have got that one at least, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's one for the fans.
And finally, which British Prime Minister who famously said, "I do not admit, for instance, that a great wrong has been done to the Red Indians of America or to the black people of Australia. I do not admit that a wrong has been done to these people by the fact that a stronger race, a higher grade race, a more worldly wide race, a more worldly wise race, to put it that way, has come in and taken their place," appeared in the 2010 episode Victory of the Daleks as the Doctor's best friend and personal hero.
Wow.
Richie?
Was that Winston Churchill?
Yep.
So that's...
Yep. Doctor's best pal.
That's 4 to Gavin, 2 to Richie. Thank you for playing the Doctor Who quiz, which you can play yourself on the BBC website.
Well done, Gavin. Good game.
Hey, thanks, man. I just wanted to really bone up before coming on the show. Don't want to show my ignorance, you know. I also have a game, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I did a little bit of boning up, as we all know, about the Doctor's famous 4 hearts. So I thought I'd have a look up. I'd look up Gallifreyan physiology.
Okay.
In which I typed in Gallifreyan physiology into Google, and there is a TARDIS wiki page dedicated and called exactly that.
I know there's a whole controversy about it now as well.
Well, no controversies here, my friend. It's black or white answers.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you. Well, in fact, you know what? I'm going to. It's not going to be the same kind of rules as before. It's based on Doctor Who Gallifreyan physiology. This is a game called Doctor Twat, Fact or Crap. So I'm going to give you a line, and you're going to both get an opportunity to answer. You simply tell me whether what I'm saying is fact or is it simply crap.
Okay. Do I have to say my name first?
No. We'll take both your answers.
Oh, okay.
Ready for this?
Ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Doctor famously has 2 hearts, the product of what is known as a binary vascular system. Is that fact or is it crap? Richie?
It's fact.
And Owen?
Well, I'll say fact.
It is fact. That's our first glimpse of this, of course, being Spearhead from space.
I'll just wait for Richie to answer each time.
Don't. Second, Gallifreyan physiology allows the Doctor to shut off entry to his lungs, conserving a pocket of air within them, allowing him to survive longer underwater. Is that fact or is it crap, Richie?
Crap.
But Owen's saying crap.
I'm going to say crap as well.
It's a fact from the prose story Warriors of the Deep.
Haha, shouldn't have followed me.
Okay.
Next up, in the prose story Canine and Feelin' Fine, the Doctor's robotic canine companion accidentally rips the seat of the Doctor's trousers, revealing a lack of an intergluteal cleft or bum crack, with only a smooth plateau of flesh on display.
No.
Is that fact or is it crap?
Fact.
Owen is saying that's a fact. And Richie?
Crap.
You're saying crap.
Mm-hmm.
It was crap, yes.
Doctor's got no bum crack.
Yeah.
I thought as soon as you said it was a prose story, I thought...
Yeah, they can get away with it.
Someone's taking their chance.
Next, Gallifreyans need less sleep than a normal human, needing, in some cases, only an hour a night. Is that fact or is it crap?
Fact.
Fact.
It is a fact, which we learned in the very acceptable and still fine Talons of Weng Chang. Next up, Gallifreyans are more susceptible to a blow to the left shoulder, which is caused by an unusual nerve cluster. Is that fact, or is it crap?
That's crap.
Fact.
It is a fact from the prose story Set Piece.
Richie, you gotta pay more attention.
Yeah, please pay more attention.
Put down your dang phone. Just watch Doctor Who for once.
For once in your damned life. And as our final fact or crap, in the 1974 Doctor Who annual published by Fleetway, a visual gag in the story Bylines and Landlines shows the Doctor from behind appearing to urinate into two separate urinals, from which we are to infer that he has two penises.
Fact.
And
That's
Richie,
crap. They wouldn't put that in an annual. That's crap.
it's shot like from behind, so
Yeah,
you
no,
see
but
the streams.
still.
You don't see the penises.
No, that's crap.
No? Even back then? 1974 Doctor Who annual?
No, crap.
The
Crap.
last chance to make up some vital points.
Crap.
Crap. It was crap, I made that. Damn it. And with that, I think Richie has comfortably romped home with a win on this one. You go home with our I Hate Doctor Who trophy and home game.
The work that we did today, the TARDIS console is now fully operational.
I seem to have heard that before.
Goodbye, Liz. I shall miss you, my dear. But I've had about all I can stand of this pompous, self-opinionated idiot here.
It's kind of the part of the thing that's great about doing the show is like watching the episodes, knowing that you guys are watching it, and it really does take you out of your little bubble sometimes.
Well, what I've enjoyed
Too many
about
in a milk
this
crate.
is that when you did the episodes with us, where you brought us in, we learned from that. You showed us something, and now having done this, you're the one who's learned. Inferno's not great.
Brigadier, my dear fella, I wonder whether I could borrow a couple of your stalwart chaps to give me a hand in bringing the TARDIS back. It's landed in rather an inaccessible position.
Pompous, self-opinionated idiot, I believe you said, Doctor?
Yes, well, we don't want to bear a grudge for a few hasty words, do we?
Yeah, no, thanks very much for coming on, guys. I appreciate it. I mean, I kind of just did this as as an excuse to podcast with you guys, but if I could get in some Doctor Who chat in the meantime, that was also fun.
Mate, I would do this again tomorrow night. Let's do it. What episode do you want to watch?
I have said before, like if I'd probably rather just continue Doctor Who. I Hate Doctor Who with just making you guys watch episode after episode.
Are we going to make this weekly? That's all I'm asking. Is it going to be weekly?
Absolutely not.
How long do you have that BritBox subscription for?
It's like a month free trial, but when it runs out, I can bang on another email address.
No, you don't know who's listening to this.
The Brits.
When you send this down south, as you're known to do, they'll hear that and pass it on to their BBC chums. That's you screwed.
And I'll ruin it for everyone. No free trials for anyone now.
As soon as this finishes, you'll just hear from the living room. It'll be like, "Bip." He's back on it.
Should I have hit stop?
No, I'll do a bye.
I think you should.
I can't even remember what I said.
And
I said thanks for coming on, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably enough.
Okay.
That's the spirit.
They say I might as well face the truth, but I am just